Welcome to my channel RV Maths Academy. In my video Introduction to Trigonometry Part 1, we are going to study what is trigonometry, why do we study trigonometry, how do we use trigonometry, and what are the applications of the trigonometry. So first we will learn what is trigonometry. Before I go for the definition of trigonometry, we should know the meaning of trigonometry first. Trigonometry is made up of three words: tri, which means three; con, which means sides; and metron, which means measures. It means trigonometry deals with the measurement of a three-sided figure, which is nothing but a triangle. Because we know that a triangle is a simple closed figure which is made up of three line segments. We know that in a triangle there are six elements, three sides and three angles. If we draw the figure of a triangle, we can see that there are three angles. If we name this triangle as A, B, C, then the three angles are angle A, angle B, angle C, and the three sides are AB, BC, and AC. Now, why we have chosen triangle to study trigonometry, and especially a right angle triangle? I know definitely this question will come to your mind. So first look at these figures. If you just see these figures, and if you divide these figures into two or more than two parts, what do you observe? If I just divide this figure into two parts, we can see that the shape of each part is a triangle. If we further divide it into two parts, then again we can see that the shape of all these four parts is a triangle. Similarly, if I divide this triangle into two parts, we can see the shape of each part is a triangle. If you divide this triangle into two parts, we can find the shape of each part is a triangle. If you divide this figure into two parts or more than two parts, every time you can see that there is a triangle. Each part is a triangle. If you divide this figure into or more parts, you can find the shape of each part is a triangle. Similarly, you can see here also, if you divide this figure, then each part is a triangle. And it is very easy to draw a right angle in any triangle. If you draw this perpendicular, you can see that the shape of each part is a right angle triangle. If this is a perpendicular from the vertex to the opposite side, you can see the shape of each part is a right angle triangle. Similarly, if this is a perpendicular, then you can see the shape of both the parts are a right angle triangle. Similarly, if these are the right angle triangles, so it is very easy for everyone to draw a right angle in any triangle. Now, we have learned the relationship between the angles of a triangle, as well as we have learned the relationship between the sides of a triangle. So first we will just recall the relationship between the angles of a triangle. We know that this property is known as angle sum property. And this property shows that the sum of three angles of a triangle is 180 degrees. Now this is a triangle. If I just mark one angle as 70 degrees, this angle as 60 degrees, and if I have to find this angle x, how do we find it? We know that the sum of three angles of a triangle is 180 degrees. So you can write 70 degrees plus 60 degrees plus x is equal to 180 degrees. So we can get 130 degrees plus x is equal to 180 degrees. Or you can say x is equal to 180 degrees minus 130 degrees. Or you can say x is equal to 50 degrees. It means if we have given two angles of a triangle, we can easily calculate the third angle. It is applicable to every triangle, whether it is a right angle triangle, acute angle triangle, or obtuse angle triangle. Now, we have learned the relationship between the sides of a triangle also. But this relationship we have learned only in a particular triangle, which is a right angle triangle. And this particular property is known as Pythagorean property, or you can say Pythagoras theorem. So according to this property, the square of the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the square of the other two sides. See, this is a right angle triangle. The side just opposite to a right angle is known as hypotenuse, which is denoted by H. And the other two sides are known as perpendicular and base, which are denoted by P and P respectively. So this is a formula: H square is equal to P square plus B square, which shows the relationship between all these three sides of a right angle triangle. If we have given any two sides, we can easily calculate the third side. Suppose we have given P as 4 centimeter and B as 3 centimeter. Then we can get H square is equal to P square plus B square. We can write P is 4 whole square plus B square. Or you can get 16 plus 9, that is 25. Or you can say H is equal to square root of 25, which is nothing but a 5 centimeter. So in a right angle triangle, if we have given two sides, then we can easily calculate the third side with the help of this formula, which is known as Pythagoras theorem. We have learned the relationship between the angles of a triangle. We have learned the relationship between the sides of a triangle. But till now, we have not learned any relationship between the sides and angles of a triangle. Is it important to study this relationship? Now, just imagine some examples, or you can just find out some examples around you which shows that a right triangle is formed. If you see this figure, in this figure we can see that this is a lighthouse and a person is standing on the lighthouse. So this person is showing by the point A. So this is a position of a man which is standing on the lighthouse, and this is the position of this man, which is denoted by A. And at any time, this person observes the position of a boat, which is denoted by B. And the base of this lighthouse is denoted by C. And this person has to calculate the distance of the boat from the lighthouse, or you can say he has to find how far this boat is from the lighthouse. So what we have to do, first we will join all these points and see what kind of figure is formed. If you join all these points, we can see that a right angle triangle is formed. If this person knows this angle and this height of the lighthouse, then with the help of trigonometry, he can easily calculate the distance of the boat from the lighthouse, which is BC. In another example, this is a Qutub Minar and a person is standing in front of it, and he has to calculate the height of the Qutub Minar. So just mark a point at the top of the Qutub Minar, which is a point P. Denote the position of I by the point A, and let us denote any point on this minar as C. If we just join all these 3 points, what do we observe? You can observe that again a right angle triangle is formed. And if this person knows this angle and this horizontal distance, because it is very easy to measure the horizontal distance in comparison to the vertical distance, he will easily calculate the distance BC. This is C. He will easily calculate the distance BC. And if I add this height, which is denoted by this point E, so this height CE, if I add this height CE to this height BC, he will be able to get the total height of the Qutub Minar, because CE is nothing but the height of the man. So we can see that the trigonometry helps us in calculating the distance or the height without actually calculating them. So what is trigonometry? We can see that the trigonometry is a branch of mathematics in which we study about the relationship between the sides and the angles of a triangle. Now, we can see so many applications of trigonometry in our daily life. We can find that the trigonometry is used in navigation. Whenever we have to locate the position of a ship or a boat, we always take the help of a trigonometry. In oceanography also, we can use the trigonometry, because trigonometry is used to calculate the height of the tides. In astronomy also, astronomers use to calculate the distance of the planets or the stars from the earth with the help of the trigonometry. In architecture also, we use trigonometry to calculate the relative angles. So we can use a trigonometry in so many places. We can use a trigonometry to calculate the latitude and longitude. We can use a trigonometry to find the distance between the two landmarks and so on. There is a lot of use of trigonometry in our daily life. So we have learned what is trigonometry and what are the uses of trigonometry. But how do we use it? This is a big question. How do we use trigonometry? So for that, first we will study trigonometric ratios. Now, what is ratio? We know that the ratio is nothing but the comparison of the two quantities of the same kind by the division method. So if we divide the sides of a triangle, then those ratios are known as trigonometric ratios. So we can define the trigonometric ratios involving the sides of a triangle with respect to its acute angles are known as trigonometric ratios. Now you can see it's a triangle because trigonometry deals with only right angle triangles. So we are taking a right angle triangle here. And just mark the triangle here as A, P, and C. Fine. Now first we are going to just mark the trigonometric ratios with respect to this acute angle A. We can see the side opposite to the right angle is hypotenuse that we already know. And here we are just going to describe the ratios with respect to the acute angle A. Then the side opposite to this angle A is known as the opposite side. We can use the word perpendicular also for the opposite side. And the side which contains this angle is known as the adjacent side. And we use the word base, that is B, to denote the adjacent side. And we all know that hypotenuse is denoted by H. Fine. So instead of opposite side or adjacent side, we can also write P and B. So always remember that the side which is just opposite to the acute angle, which you are just going to consider, is known as the opposite side, and the side which is containing that angle is known as the adjacent side. Suppose if we are going to mark the sides with respect to the acute angle C. Again, we are just naming this angle, same naming we are going to do, that is A, B, and C. Now this time, if I have to mark the sides with respect to this acute angle C, so the side which is just opposite to the angle C is always the opposite side. And the side which is just opposite to the 90 degree is known as hypotenuse. We know that the side which is just opposite to the 90 degree will never change. Only the position of the rest of the two sides will change. If I am just defining the ratio with respect to this acute angle C, the side just opposite to this angle is known as the opposite side. So here my opposite side is AB, whereas the side which contains this angle is BC, and this is known as adjacent side. Again, we can say here that adjacent side is denoted by B, and the opposite side is denoted by P, and the hypotenuse is denoted by H. So, according to the acute angle, the position of the opposite side and the adjacent side change, whereas the position of the hypotenuse always remain fixed. It is always opposite to the right angle. There are 6 trigonometric ratios. We have learned that when we divide the sides of a triangle, we will get the trigonometric ratio. We can see in this figure that there are 3 sides in a triangle, which are perpendicular, base, and hypotenuse. So if we divide any 2 sides, we get a trigonometric ratio. Whether we divide H by B, or B by H, P by H, or H by P, P by B, or B by P. So we can see there are 6 possibilities. So there are 6 trigonometric ratios. So first ratio is sine, which we get when we divide perpendicular by hypotenuse.
The second ratio we get when we divide base by hypotenuse, and this ratio is known as cosine, and in short we call it as cos. The third trigonometric ratio we get when we divide perpendicular by base, and this trigonometric ratio is known as tangent, and in short we call it as tan. The fourth trigonometric ratio we get when we divide base by perpendicular, and this trigonometric ratio is known as cotangent, and in short we call it as cot. The fifth trigonometric ratio we get when we divide hypotenuse by base, and this trigonometric ratio is known as secant, and in short we call it as sec. The sixth trigonometric ratio is h upon p. When we divide hypotenuse by perpendicular, we get the sixth trigonometric ratio, and this trigonometric ratio is known as cosecant, and in short we call it as cosec. I know it is very difficult for anyone to learn all these trigonometric ratios. So there is a trick to remember all these 6 trigonometric ratios, and the trick is Pandit Badri Prasad har har bole Sona Chandi Tole. Here P represent perpendicular, B represent base, H represent hypotenuse, S represent sine, C represent cos, and T represent tan. So this S is sine, this C is cos, and this T is tan. So when we divide perpendicular by hypotenuse, we will get a trigonometric ratio sine, which you can see here. If we divide base by hypotenuse, we will get another trigonometric ratio, which is cos. You can see here. Now, if we divide perpendicular by base, we will get another trigonometric ratio, that is tan, which you can see here. Now, if we interchange the position of numerator and denominator everywhere, if I interchange the position of numerator and denominator, we will get another trigonometric ratio. Then we can call this trigonometric ratio is cosec. This trigonometric ratio we can call as sec, and this trigonometric ratio we can call as cot. You can see here cosec is equal to, if I do the reciprocal, so h will go in the numerator and p will come in the denominator. So you can see here in cosec we are getting h upon p. If I am interchanging b and h here, it means h will go in the numerator and base will come in the denominator. You are getting another trigonometric ratio, that is sec. If you are interchanging numerator and denominator here, it means base will go in the numerator and perpendicular will come in the denominator. We are getting another trigonometric ratio, that is cot. So in this way, we are able to learn all these 6 trigonometric ratios. So I hope you have liked my video.
Thank you for watching my video. If you like my video, then please give a like to this video, share with your friends, and subscribe my channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon